Dave Ramsey has built an empire telling you that debt is the enemy. Pay cash for your car, always, no exceptions. And for a lot of people, that advice has saved their financial lives. But there is a specific scenario playing out right now in 2026 where following that advice to the letter will quietly cost you $59,000. Not because Dave is wrong, because he is solving a different problem than the one you might actually have. Today, we are going to stillman both sides of this argument. We are going to look at the math that makes the pay cash crowd right and the math that makes them wrong. And then we are going to give you the 3 conditions that tell you exactly which side you are on, because the answer is not the same for everyone, and treating it like it is has been costing people a fortune. This is Sarah's Money Map, where we take the personal finance advice you have already heard and pressure test it against actual numbers. If that sounds useful, hit subscribe. Now let us get into it. Let us start by giving Dave his due. The pay cash argument is genuinely smart for a large group of people. Most Americans do not have the discipline to invest the difference. That is not an insult, that is just data. JPMorgan tracked real investor behavior over decades. The S&P 500 returned roughly 10% annually. The average investor got 2.9%. Same index fund. A fraction of the return. People bought high, panicked low, and let the cash sit waiting for the right moment. So when Dave says pay cash, what he is really saying is this: you are not going to invest that $40,000. You are going to spend it. And he is right about most people most of the time. Paying cash forces a spending ceiling. You cannot buy a car you cannot afford. No monthly payment to stretch. No interest compounding quietly in the background. For someone with no investment account, no emergency fund, and a history of lifestyle creep, paying cash is genuinely the right move. This is the foundation Dave is building on, and it is solid. But here's where the math splits into 2 very different stories, and the gap between them is $59,000. Let us meet 2 people buying the exact same Toyota Camry, same dealer, same day, same $40,000 price tag. Pariah pays cash. She writes the check, drives off the lot, and owes nothing. 0 monthly payments, 0 interest. In 5 years, her Camry is worth roughly $24,000. She has lost $16,000 to depreciation. That loss is identical for both buyers. Depreciation does not care how you paid. James finances the same car at 6% APR over 60 months. His payment is $733 a month. Over 5 years, he pays $46,380 total. $6,380 in interest above the purchase price. James paid more for the same car. On paper, Pariah wins. But James did one thing differently. The morning he signed the loan, he took that $40,000 and put it into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. He did not touch it. He just let it sit. The S&P 500 has returned roughly 10% annually over the last 100 years. At that rate, $40,000 over 5 years becomes $64,400. Now, the honest math. James subtracts his $6,380 in interest. His net position is $58,020. Call it $59,000. Let me put this on a chart. Imagine 2 bars. The first bar is Pariah. It starts at $40,000, shrinks to $24,000 as the car depreciates, and stays flat. The bar ends lower than it started. The second bar is James. It starts at $40,000, grows to $64,400 in the market, then we shave off the interest cost. The bar ends at $58,020. Same car, same 5 years, same depreciation. The only difference is where the $40,000 spent those 5 years. That gap between the 2 bars is not a rounding error. It is roughly 2 years of college tuition, or the down payment on an investment property. Now I can feel the objection forming. You might be thinking, Sarah, the market does not return 10% every single year. What if we hit a recession in year 2? That is a completely fair concern. The 10% is a long-run average, not a guarantee. There were 5-year windows in market history where returns were flat or negative. This is a real risk, and it lives inside the three conditions we are about to walk through. But here's the structural difference that does not show up in the numbers. Liquidity. When Priya drives that Camry, $40,000 is locked inside a depreciating asset. If she loses her job in month 3, she cannot tap the car for cash without selling it and taking a loss. The money is frozen. When James loses his job in month 3, he can access his investment account in 2 business days. His options are completely different. Cash in a brokerage account is not the same animal as equity in a used car. So when does the finance strategy actually work? Here are the 3 conditions. All 3 must be true at the same time. Miss one and the math falls apart. Condition 1. Your loan interest rate must be meaningfully below your expected investment return. In 2026, a prime borrower can access new car financing at roughly 6 to 7%. The S&P 500 long-run average is 10%. That spread of 3 to 4 points is what makes the arbitrage work. If your rate is 8, 9, or 10%, the spread disappears. Check your actual rate before doing any of this math. Condition 2. You must actually invest the $40,000 the same week you finance the car, not next month, not after you feel more settled. The same week. This is where the strategy collapses for most people. The money feels available. It sits in checking. 3 months later, it has been absorbed into a renovation and a vacation. If there is any doubt about your execution here, pay cash. The math only works if the money goes straight into the market and stays there untouched for 5 years. Condition 3. Your income must be stable enough to cover $730 a month without stress for the full 60 months. If a job change or a medical bill would put that payment in jeopardy, the strategy creates fragility instead of freedom. You need a real margin of safety in your monthly budget before you borrow against a depreciating asset. If all 3 conditions are true, the math is clearly on the side of financing. If any one of them is false, Dave Ramsey is right, and you should write the check. Here is the protocol. Step 1. Pull your credit score before you shop. If your rate comes in at 6% or below, financing is worth modeling. If your rate is above 8%, stop here. Pay cash. The spread is too thin. Step 2. Open your brokerage account before you sign the loan. Not after. Before. Have the transfer ready to execute the same day the deal closes. Treat it like a bill due that afternoon. If you cannot execute this within 48 hours, pay cash. Step 3. Run your survival budget. Take your monthly take-home, subtract your fixed obligations, and see what remains. If $773 fits without pushing you below a 1-month cash buffer, you are in range. If it does not, the payment is too much leverage on a depreciating asset. The deeper reframe is this. A car is the one major purchase where the asset is guaranteed to lose value. You will never recover that depreciation regardless of how you paid. What you can control is what the money does while it is not tied up in sheet metal and rubber. If your money is disciplined and invested, financing is not reckless, it is arbitrage. If your money is undisciplined and undeployed, financing is exactly the trap Dave has been warning about for 30 years. Both of them are right. They're just describing different people. The question is which person you actually are, not which person you intend to be. The person you are on the Monday morning after you drive that car off the lot. Drop a comment below. Did you pay cash for your last car or did you finance? And if you finance, did you actually invest the difference? I want to see real numbers from real people. Hit like if this breakdown helped you think through the decision. I am Sarah. I will see you in the next one.